What are trusts? In this video, we're going to talk about trusts. Now, trusts can be a powerful tool in organizing your assets to make sure that they get passed on to the correct people and potentially reduce estate taxes, which at 40% for federal and up to 20% for Washington state can be one of the largest taxes Americans face. Trusts also help solve problems of long-term care costs and divorce protection. So let's understand what a trust is, what the different types of trusts are, and some of the reasons people actually use trusts. Hi, I'm Jason Gray with Pinnacle Estate Planning, helping you hold on to your money and protect your legacy. There are many different types of trusts, and your situation will determine what type of trust is best for you. We'll look at the different types of trusts later in this video, but fundamentally, a trust is a legal arrangement where trustees manage an individual's assets. To have a trust, there are minimally three parties: the grantor, the creator of the trust, the trustees, and the beneficiaries. The grantor, sometimes called the settlor or the trustor, is the person who is setting up the trust and contributing the assets into the trust. The actual trust is a document called a trust agreement, which outlines how the trust assets are to be used and managed. The next party is the trustees, and a trust requires at least one trustee, though having multiple trustees is common. Trustees take ownership or control of the assets from the grantor, and they ensure the management of these assets is for the benefit of the persons I'm about to mention next, which is our third party, the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries are the individuals that benefit from the trust. Now, these three roles can all be the same person, but it's often better to spread the roles around the family. Most trusts have different family members as trustees and beneficiaries. A grantor can also act as the trustee, which keeps you in control, but usually you want your trustees to be people that will outlive the grantor. There are different kinds of assets the grantor can place into a trust. This could be cash, property, fine art, stocks, shares, boats, airplanes. Anything that can be owned can be placed into a trust. There are many reasons why an individual might want to set up a trust. Most people think trusts are for the rich or people with estate tax problems, but they solve for much more common problems like long-term care costs and divorce. Since most families don't have an estate tax problem, holding on to your home and not losing it to long-term care costs is much more important. In Washington state, nursing home costs average about $8,500 per month. Putting your home into a trust years in advance means it's much more likely that your home goes to your children and not to the state. Divorce is also a big problem, with divorce rates hovering at around 45% in Washington. It's almost a coin flip, and it's heartbreaking for parents to see half of their life's work walk out the door with Mr. or Mrs. Wrong. A trust can stop your assets from ending up in your child's future divorce settlement. As for estate taxes, a trust is a great way to reduce the size of your estate for tax calculations. Your estate is the total of all of your assets minus all of your liabilities or everything that you owe. So it's everything you own less everything you owe. Reducing your estate legally can reduce your estate tax, and that's up to 40% for federal taxes plus up to 20% for Washington state taxes that can go to your children and doesn't have to go to the government. Please note, it's a common misconception that a trust will instantly and automatically eliminate all of your estate taxes. That's not true, but with careful planning, we can reduce or eliminate estate taxes later on. Bear in mind, these strategies can take planning and foresight, but significant savings can be generated with proper structuring. Another reason for getting a trust is to look after a beneficiary who is too young, but you want your assets to be passed on to your children once they come of age. Trusts are a great way to protect means-tested benefits like Medicaid. And all that said, trusts are generally used to manage assets, get them down to your children in the most cost-efficient and tax-efficient way possible. So there are many types of trusts that are available, with each having its own rules, which means some trusts are better suited for certain scenarios than others. I'll mention the most common types of trusts in this video, otherwise we could be here all day, and I'll be sure to leave a link in the description if you want more information on trusts. First up, our bare trust, although in the US we typically call these simple trusts. They're probably the most simple type of trust there is. How a simple trust works is all the assets are owned by the trustees, but the beneficiary has an absolute right to claim the assets and benefits when they reach the age of majority or the age of 18. Usually once a simple trust is established, the beneficiary cannot be changed. This means the trustee has little control over when the beneficiary receives the assets. This is quite useful when you're looking to pass assets on to younger children and you need someone to act as a custodian or a trustee of those assets until they reach the correct age. The second type of trust is called a life estate trust. Here there are two different types of beneficiaries of this trust. The purpose of this type of trust is that whatever income or interest that the assets have that's created, less taxes and fees, must get paid to a named beneficiary of that type of trust. So they have an interest in the possession of the assets of the trust during their lifetime, but they don't necessarily get the ownership of the possession, which is why it's called a life estate. They can continue to receive this interest of the income for a period of time, normally the rest of their lives, but sometimes people limit it to 2 years or 10 years or 5 years. So the income beneficiary is one of the two types of beneficiaries of a life estate trust. The other type of beneficiary is the remainder beneficiary, or the people that will receive the capital once the life estate portion has been completed, be it based on time or death. And that means that the actual ownership of the assets will pass to the remainder beneficiaries after the life estate portion has been completed. In most common cases, the remainder beneficiaries will only inherit the assets once the life estate beneficiaries have passed away. This is incredibly useful with a blended family, that is, two people get married and have kids from previous relationships. You want to leave the income to your spouse, but then after your spouse has passed away, you want the assets to go down to your children. And finally, the most common type of trust out there is called a discretionary trust. This is where the trustees can make certain decisions about how to apply the benefits to the beneficiaries. Here, the trustees can decide how much of the income and capital is paid out to the beneficiaries, and of course the beneficiaries can also be trustees. This can be very helpful in situations where you have an individual who needs extra help or maybe on means-tested benefits or may have problems managing money. The trustees can help to ensure the money does not get lost. I've often heard clients say, Jason, if I've got a bunch of money by the time I was 18, I'd have nothing by the time I was 19. It might be helpful to have a trustee that can help manage that delivery so the money doesn't disappear. These are the main types of trusts, and there's several more. Some trusts are of a hybrid of what I mentioned, and there can be overlap in the sorts of specific duties or functions that they can perform. Be sure to check out my other videos for more advice and knowledge on estate planning. So how do you get a trust, and how much should you budget? When you're ready to create a trust and need some guidance on what type of trust is going to work for your specific situation, I highly recommend you speak with a specialist, someone who focuses on estate planning, because trusts are really important legal documents. The wording in them has to be precise. There can't be any room for ambiguity. You need a special trust advisor. The law, like medicine, is so broad you wouldn't want your general practitioner acting as your surgeon. Likewise, a generalist attorney may not have the same depth of understanding for taxes and nuances on trusts as a specialist. As for cost, prices vary depending on the complexity of the trust. Is there tax planning involved? What is it you're trying to actually achieve? At Pinnacle Estate Planning, we believe in transparency with our pricing. You're welcome to go to our website to see how to set up a free consultation where we can go over all of the specific costs and get you a flat rate quote for your individual estate plan. The easiest way to ensure that you're getting fair value is to compare trust costs to the price of long-term care in Washington state. With care costing about $8,500 per month at present, it's smart to invest in proper trust planning. You'll likely recoup all of the investment by avoiding probate, long-term care savings, if you put the home into a trust years ahead of needing care. While these costs are generally a one-time fee, consider it an investment over the course of your lifetime and the lives of your children, as trust can last for generations. Let me know in the comments section below if you have any more questions, and if you found this video helpful, hit that like button. It's the easiest way to help another family in Washington protect their assets. Before we wrap up, I want to mention that at Pinnacle Estate Planning, we understand that thinking about estates, trusts, and protecting your assets can feel overwhelming. Many people put it off because they're not sure where to start, or they think it's only for the extremely wealthy. That's why we offer a no-pressure, free 30-minute consultation where we simply listen to your situation and help you understand your options. No complex legal jargon, no hard selling, just clear, straightforward advice tailored to your unique circumstances. Whether you own a home in Spokane or over on the west side, have a vacation property, or you're simply wanting to ensure your children are provided for, we can help create a plan that gives you peace of mind. Our clients consistently tell us that they leave our office feeling relieved and confident about their future. Estate planning isn't just about protecting assets, it's about protecting the people you love and the legacy you've worked so hard to build. If you'd like to learn more about how we can help, just click the link in the description to schedule your free consultation. There's absolutely no obligation, and you might be surprised at how accessible and affordable proper planning can be. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.